Hello everybody, my name is Stogo. Thank you so much for clicking on this video and supporting my channel. On today's video I'm going to be showing you how to achieve this refined polished makeup application that is timeless really. Do you know, sometimes you look back at your pictures that you took 5-10 years ago and you ask yourself, what was I thinking? What is that on my face? So the makeup application that I did today, I wanted it to really be refined as well as timeless, in a sense that you can really do the same makeup application 5-10 years down the line. So I'm going to be showing you how I apply the different products, and I'm also going to be telling you the things that you need to look out for when you are applying different products in order to achieve a more refined makeup application. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and also don't forget to click that subscribe button and the post notification bell so that you are notified each time I post a new video. So let's just jump right onto the video and let's get started. To start with, you want to make sure that you have washed your face, that your face is cleansed, and that you have moisturized your face with a really good moisturizer, because that's going to make a big difference. If your face is not moisturized, your makeup is not really going to sit on your face the way you want it to sit. So you want to make sure that you have moisturized your face with a really good moisturizer. I also use an eye cream for my under eye just to make sure that that area is also moisturized. And then you have to go in with a primer depending on your skin type. I have oily skin, so I always go in with a mattifying primer, especially in my T-zone. That's the area that I get the most oily, so I always go in with a mattifying primer. I'm going to use this Rimmel London mattifying primer base. I'm going to use a brush to apply the primer. Right, I'm now going to go in with a concealer. The concealer that I'm going to use now is to color correct before I go in with my foundation. For that, I'm going to use this L'Oreal Paris Infallible 24-hour More Than Concealer in the shade 338. I'm going to use this concealer to correct under my eyes as well as around my mouth where I feel like I have a bit of pigmentation. Also use it to spot correct the darker spots on my face. Then I'm going to use this brush from Eco Tool to blend it out. You want to make sure that you color correct so that whenever you put on your foundation, you don't have some pigmentation showing under your foundation. You'll notice that the shade of the concealer that I'm using under my eyes is very close to my skin tone, so I'm not trying to highlight my under eye at this point. I'm just trying to even out the complexion under my eyes to the rest of my face. Alright, now that is done, I'm going to go in with foundation. And for foundation, I'm going to mix two foundations just because I feel like although I have oily skin, but because it's winter, I feel like I have more of a combination skin where some areas of my face are a bit dry. Using only a matte foundation, I find that it makes my skin a bit drier than I would like. So I'm going to mix a matte foundation as well as a non-matte foundation. I'm going to use this L'Oreal Infallible 24-hour Fresh Wear foundation in the shade 330. I'm going to put one pump at the back of my hand, and then I'm going to mix it with this W.Beauty Longwear Max Cover Foundation with SPF 20 in the shade Mocha. I also like to put the foundation at the back of my hand just to get it warm, and it thins it out a little bit so that it can be easier to apply. So I'm going to use this foundation brush. I'm going to start at the center of my face so that as I go to the outer part of my face, I don't have too much product on the brush, because I don't really need that much product on the outer part of my face. And with foundation, you don't want to just go on with a pile of foundation all at once. I find that layering your foundation, building up your coverage on the areas that you really need more coverage, it really makes a difference on how your makeup application comes together. This side, I'm also going to start at the center, then I'm going to move outwards. you really need to take your time to blend in the foundation. That is what is going to give you that skin-like finish, that natural finish that you want. As you can see, there's very little product left on the brush as I go to the outer part of my face, and that's how I like it. I don't really need that much product on the outer part of my face. I'm going to build up the coverage on the areas that I feel like I need a bit more coverage, like on my cheeks. I feel like that's where I can see a bit of pigmentation still coming through, so that's where I'm going to build up the coverage. If you want to refine your makeup application, you really need to take your time to blend out your foundation, because that is really going to give you that refined makeup application that just makes you look refined and polished. You also want to take the remaining product on your foundation brush onto your ear, just so that you can get that cohesive look. The other thing that is going to make a big difference on your makeup application is to make sure that you use clean tools. So make sure that your brushes are clean. It really makes a big difference as opposed to using brushes that have foundation from a week ago. You also want to make sure that you really try to get the shade of your foundation to match to your skin. You really want to make that to be as close as possible to your skin tone. That is what is going to give you that skin-like finish, because that's what you want if you want your makeup application to be really refined. Moving on to brows. With brows, again, you really don't need to do much. You just need to fill in your brows where you feel like there could be more brow hairs. You don't really need to make your brows to be darker than what they are. Just fill them in, shake them a little bit, then you are good to go. You don't really need to do much. So I'm going to use this Loreal Paris Skin Definer Brow Artist to first comb up my brow hairs and then fill them in a little bit. You also want to use a really skinny brow pencil, because that's what is going to give you those brow-like strokes that mimics your real brows. So you really want it to look as natural as possible. You also want to really not be heavy-handed when you are applying your brow pencil, because you really don't want it to be too dark. You want it to look as close to your natural brows as possible. So you must just go in with very light strokes. That is what is going to give you that natural finish that you are looking for. Now I'm going to go in with a concealer just to get a little bit more definition on my brows. I feel like when my brows are really defined, that's where my look is really elevated and it looks really refined. So with that, again, you don't want to use a concealer that is too bright. You just want to use a concealer that is also close to the skin tone in that brow area. So I'm going to go in with this MAC concealer in the shade NC45, and I'm going to use a flat concealer brush to apply that. I'm also going to take the remaining product and just place it at the head of my brow just to soften it up a little bit. And then I'm going to take the Beauty blender and just blend out the end, just so that we get rid of that line of demarcation. When you are trying to refine your makeup application, you really want to be minimalistic. You don't want to pile on too many products on your face. You want it to look as natural as possible. That's when your makeup application is going to be really refined and polished. For eyeshadow, I want to do a brown smoky eye. I feel like a smoky eye is really timeless. You really can go back 10-20 years back and women were already doing a smoky eye, and I think in 10-20 years to come we'll be still doing a smoky eye. I'm going to go for a more softer smoky eye, which is a brown smoky eye. So I'm going to use this palette from Makeup Revolution. For transition, I'm going to go with a light brown shade. A transition shade is the shade that you place on your crease, which is the area between your brow bone and your eyelid. So when you are trying to refine your makeup application, you really want to take your time and blend your makeup. You also want to layer the products on your face. You don't want to just pile on a product all at once on your face. That really makes a big difference. So you want to go back and forth, blend it in, layer it out, put more when you need to, and that's how you're going to get that refined makeup application. Now I'm gonna go in with a brown shade. I also want to take the brown shadow to the head of my brow. I'm buffing it out though, and I'm going very lightly. I don't want the brown shade to be as deep as the rest of my eye at the head of my brow, so I'm going in very light-handedly. Now I'm gonna go in with a clean brush just to buff out the edges to make sure that there's no line of demarcation. Going back to the transition shade to make sure that the shadows are blended in together and there are no lines of demarcation. I'm going in with a deeper shade of brown just to make sure that I get a little bit more depth on the eyelid, at the center of my eyelid. Now I'm going to finish up the rest of my makeup, and I'm going to start with highlighting my under eyes. So I'm going to use this L'Oreal Paris Infallible More Than a Concealer in the shade Caramel, which is shade 335. I don't need much, I just need a tiny little bit just to brighten up my under eye. I'm going to use the same brush that I used to blend out the concealer under my brows. To set my under eyes, I'm going to use this pressed powder from W.Beauty. It's in the shade Medium. I'm also going to set the rest of my face with the same powder. I'm going to go on to bronze my face. You will notice that I did not use a contour, which is normally a foundation stick or a concealer. I feel like a bronzer gives my face a little bit more softness if I just go straight with the bronzer. So I'm going to bronze my face using a face powder. I'm going to use this L'Oreal Paris Infallible 24-hour powder foundation in the shade 370. Again, I don't want a deep dark contour. I just want to bring back a little bit more dimension to my face. So I'm going in very light-handedly as well. I also like to take the bronzer to my ear. I feel like that just gives that cohesive look. I'm going to go over this with the powder brush that I use to set the rest of my face, just to make sure that everything comes together and there are no visible lines where you can see the bronzer as well as other products. Again, I'm just making sure that there are no lines. That is what is going to give you that refined application that is very polished, where everything just melts in together so nicely. For mascara, I'm using this Lash Princess mascara from Essence. For eyeliner, I'm going to use this Aqua activated eyeliner. It looks like this, and that just means that you activate it with water. I am loving these liners. They are really pigmented. They are not waterproof, but they are smudge proof. Once you put it there, it's not going to move. So I'm going to activate this. It comes in like this. You just dip a brush in water, then you just swirl it around to activate it. Once you get that creamy consistency, then you know that it's ready to apply. I'm not really trying to do a wing, I just want to outline my lash line. I feel like it just makes my eyes pop a bit more. It also helps when you are applying your lashes because it guides you where you need to apply your lashes. I really like this eyeliner. It's very pigmented, and once you put it there, it just stays there. It does not move. I love liquid liners, but I've really struggled to find a really good liquid liner. I'm so happy that I found these Aqua activated liners. Let me show you the rest of the shades that I got. I got this black one. That's the one that I have on my eyes right now. I've also got this green one when you are looking for that pop of color. and I also got this gold one. Let me swatch them for you so that you can see why I love this so much. I don't know if you can see, especially the gold. This brand is a South African brand and I'm really impressed. I really love these eyeliners. If you are also interested in getting yourself some of these liquid eyeliners, their products are very affordable, and you can click the link in the description box, and then when you are checking out, use my discount code STOGO10 and get yourself 10% off on your purchase. Now let's finalize this makeup application. Let me just stick on my lashes, then we're gonna put on blush, then we will be done. So what I want to do now is to take that brown shadow that I applied on my lids, just to buff out the brown liner that I put on my lower lash line, just to pull this look together. So with lashes, you just want lashes that will just open up your eye and then just bring the whole makeup look together. You don't want lashes that are too long or too thick if you want your makeup application to look a little bit more refined. Now I'm just going to apply a little bit of blush. I'm going to use this face palette from Beauty Treats. I like to first buff out the blush at the back of my hand. I don't want to just take the blush straight from the palette onto my face. That makes it a little bit difficult to blend. It also tones down the pigmentation on the blush a little bit, because you don't want the blush to look exaggerated on your face. You want it to look cohesive and blended in nicely with the rest of the products on your face. You also want to bring your blush a little bit higher, also to your forehead, just to make sure that the look is cohesive. I'm also going to go back to the beauty blender that I used to just make sure that the lines are diffused. For my lips, I really want to go for something that is a little bit more nude, because my eyes are quite dramatic in a sense that I have a smoky eye. I'm going to line my lips with this Wet n Wild lip crayon in the shade Chestnut. When I line my lips, I also want to fill them in a little bit. I don't want to just have a thin line lining my lips. If the line is a little bit more thicker, a little bit more filled in, it looks more natural. And then for lipstick, I'm just going to use this MAC Cosmetics lipstick in the shade Bed and Bear. Now I'm going to set my makeup, because that is a very important part of a refined makeup application. You don't want your makeup to start moving around on your face. It is also going to just melt everything together and just makes it look so beautiful, so polished, so refined. There are different types of makeup setting sprays. There are matte finish setting sprays, there are dewy finish setting sprays, so you really have to go with what works best for your skin. I like to mix these two setting sprays. I find that they really give me what I'm looking for. I like to mix this Rimmel London Insta Fix and Glow 2-in-1 primer setting spray, as well as this Maybelline New York Lasting Fix. Alright, this is the final look. I really like how it came together. I feel like this look is timeless. I feel like it's something that I can do 10 years down the line. It accentuates my features, which is what you are looking for. If you are looking for a more polished, more refined look, you just want to accentuate your features. You don't want to change them too much. You don't want to paint over them where you don't really even see what you look like. So I think that's the secret in achieving a polished, timeless makeup application that will stand the test of time. So thank you so much for watching all the way through to the end. Until the next time, bye.